Christian Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Fighting the Good Fight Devotional for Men, Daily Inspiration to Stand Strong in Faith, by Tony Evans. Narrated by Bill Andrew Quinn. 1. The Battle Behind the Scenes. Did you know that a world you can't see may be having a huge impact on the one you can? Let me explain. Right now, you and I are in the middle of a cosmic conflict occurring in the invisible angelic realm. This battle is being fleshed out and worked out in the very visible physical realm in which we live. Perhaps you are an emotional casualty of this warfare, and this is evidenced by discouragement, depression, or despair. Or perhaps you have been affected in your marriage or relationships by this conflict. It is even possible that your financial situation is directly related to losing the ongoing battles in this warfare, and you thought it simply was related to credit card use or otherwise piling up debt. There is no end to the scope of this battle because Satan's goal is to sideline you from living as an active participant in God's kingdom army. The problem is that most of us forget to look at the true source behind the issues we face. As a result, we end up fighting the wrong enemy. The enemy is the devil and his minions. Once you recognize that our battle is not against flesh and blood, but is in the spiritual realm, you are better equipped to wage spiritual warfare well and successfully. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the powers, against the spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly places. 2. People aren't your problem. If you feel like somebody is out to get you, you are right. But it's probably not who you think it is. The Apostle Paul says you are making a huge mistake if you think people are the root of your problem. He tells us in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, which refers to people. So, as bad as people are, they are merely the conduits of another battle. But Satan has been successful in getting us to fight people rather than the enemy causing the people to be the way that they are. All of us have been in situations where we've tried to change people who are not behaving well or are not treating us as we'd prefer. Yet, until you and I understand that what happens to us through the actions of others has at its core something much bigger than those people, we will remain in a state of deception. This is exactly where Satan wants us to remain. So if you are ready to treat the disease instead of just the symptoms, level up your skills in spiritual warfare. Learn how to get to the root of people problems, as well as even more serious concerns, such as substance abuse and sexual, emotional, or relational issues, by studying and applying principles for waging spiritual warfare with excellence. Romans chapter 12, verse 18. If possible, so far as it depends on you, be at peace with all men. 3. Two worldviews. Do you ever catch yourself thinking that things just happen in your life? The Bible has an important perspective on this, and I have come to believe that nothing happens without a reason. God either allowed it to happen or intended it to happen. This is because everything in the physical realm in which we live is influenced or provoked by the spiritual realm. There is nothing your five senses partake of that is not influenced by what your five senses do not perceive. Daniel chapter 4, verse 26 summarizes how heaven rules over what takes place on earth. Your kingdom will be assured to you after you recognize that it is heaven that rules. Essentially, everything that takes place on earth is precipitated by something that took place in heaven. Until you and I can address the spiritual causes of the issues we face in our lives, we will never fix them. This reality should help frame our worldview. Now, there really are two worldviews. There is the naturalistic worldview that says mankind, by his own reason, can figure out how the world works. On the other side is the spiritual worldview, which reflects an understanding and acknowledgement that heaven rules over all. To embrace this worldview, you must understand its essence, which is that the battle you and I are engaged in is ultimately a spiritual one. Matthew chapter.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?